Let's rate all the series that I watched in 2024. Welcome to Fanabine Reacts, where I recap, review, and react to TV shows, movies, and books that I've read and watched and tell you how I feel about them. Let's get into it. First up, we have The Gentleman, a series based on the movie of the same name that was directed by Guy Ritchie. So, this show is basically about aristocratic England and drugs. I really like this show. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I can't say that I don't miss the original cast. I really liked Theo James and Kaya Scodelario in this series. I think they did a really good job at capturing the essence of drama and comedy that the original movie had. So I would recommend watching The Gentleman. Next, we have The Diplomat, which I loved. I would give this a 9 out of 10, and I definitely recommend. This story follows Kerry Russell, who becomes the US ambassador in Britain, and her husband, who's played by Rufus Sewell, their relationship, and the crises that she has to deal with as a US ambassador in this new position that she didn't want in the political climate in England. I love this series. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I absolutely would recommend you watch it. I'm not going to give anything more than that. Just watch it. There's 2 seasons. It's worth it. I cannot wait for season 3. Next up, we have Blue Eye Samurai. Now, this came out in 2023, but I didn't watch it until 2024, and boy, was I missing out. I am not a big anime person, but I loved this series. I would give it a 9 out of 10. The story follows a mixed race samurai who's half white, half Japanese, and their journey to exact revenge on the last 4 white men in Japan during the Edo period. This is such a good series. It was so well animated. The voice actors are amazing. I got emotional a couple times. I love all the characters. Every character is dynamic and complex. It's not just one-dimensional characters. You absolutely have to watch this show. I loved it. Arcane season 2 came out last year, and I was a huge fan of season 1, so I had to watch season 2. Now, to be honest, I don't know anything about League of Legends. I have never played the game, but I love the show, love the characters. It was only 2 seasons. It's actually finished now, which I'm kind of sad about. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Love the development of the characters. Love how the story ended. I just wish it didn't end so soon. I want more. But I think the creators of this show is supposed to be coming out with a different show, so I look forward to that. But I would recommend that you watch it. Arcane was good. The Perfect Couple. I love Nicole Kidman. I love me a murder mystery. I did not have any reservations about watching this show. And this was the first time I had seen Dakota Fanning in a while. I loved it. So much fun. I really didn't know who killed the victim until the very end, when it started to make sense to me about why a particular character was moving the way that they were. I loved this show. I thought it was so fun, but it's not like my top tier kind of show. I would give this a 7 or an 8 out of 10, but I definitely would recommend that you watch it. Nicole Kidman, as always, is great, and it was a doozy. It was a doozy. Season 3 of Lincoln Lawyer came out last year, and being a lawyer by profession, I have a soft spot for legal dramas. I love legal dramas. So I had to watch season 3 when it came out. Love the development of the characters, kind of interested to see where everything goes. Huge fan of Mickey Haller. It's a fun show. It's just supposed to be a regular TV drama, so it's not like the most grand, spectacular thing, but I love it nonetheless. And I would give it like an 8 out of 10. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Squid Game season 2 came out last year. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had waited so long for season 2 of Squid Game. I was so excited to watch it. And boy, did it rise to the occasion. I love that they had some of the same games. I love that they had different games. I loved the development of the characters, because I was really upset that he wanted to go back into the game at the end of season 1. But I actually understood his motivations and why in season 2. They did a really good job at explaining that. And they ended it on such a cliffhanger. I can't wait for season 3. Netflix, I'm gonna need season 3. Like now. Please and thank you. I would rate it an 8.5 out of 10. I can't wait. I need season 3. Thank you. Bridgerton season 3 also came out last year. Now, I identify as a feminist, so this time period of parading women around as show ponies to become wives, as children, to sometimes grown men, not something I want to see in real life. In a Shondaland show, though, I'm all for it. I am all for it. I love the drama. I love the story. I love Penelope's character development. I love the relationships that we saw fall apart and get back together and mend and all of these kinds of things. I'm kind of excited to see how it goes forward now that certain things have happened. If you didn't watch it yet, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But I do recommend that you do watch it. I do. I think season 1 is still my favorite, but I definitely would recommend season 3. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Please watch. And in keeping with the same theme, I watched Queen Charlotte for the first time last year. I know it came out a long time ago, but I didn't watch it when it came out. I'm not sure why, but I actually really loved Queen Charlotte. I love that we got to see her in a completely different light. I love the back and forth between the time when they were young and to where she is now. I loved seeing the backstory of Lady Danbury, because I was always wondering how Lady Danbury ended up where she was and what her story was, and how come when I saw her in Bridgerton she didn't have a husband and I didn't see children around her, and all of these things. I really was excited to see her story, so I'm really glad that something told me, let's just watch Queen Charlotte. Really liked it. I would give that an 8.5 out of 10 actually. I enjoyed it a lot and I would recommend that you watch it. But if you haven't seen Bridgerton, I would say start Bridgerton first and then watch Queen Charlotte so that you kind of understand the character of who she is and why she's behaving the way that she is. Sorrows, prayers. If you know, you know. Last year, I discovered a discovery of witches, and let me tell you something. I am obsessed with good, bad shows. I have something for shows and movies that aren't really good at all. Like the story's bad, the acting is weird, the writing is weird. But for some reason, I just love it. I'm invested in the story anyway, and I want to know what's going on. And the characters are making really weird decisions. But I love a show that knows that it's not the best thing out there and doesn't pretend to be. That's how I felt about the discovery of witches. You may disagree, and you're free to disagree with me in the comments, but I loved how bad I felt like a discovery of witches was. For me, it's a 6 out of 10. If I'm actually rating it on the scale that I rate every other show, it's a 5 or 6 out of 10. But if we're talking about how much I enjoyed it, it's an 8. It's an 8 out of 10. I loved it. Was it bad? Yes. Was it stereotypical? Yes. Could you guess the entire plot? Absolutely. Should you watch it? 100%. 100%. You should definitely watch it. I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so bad. Now we're switching gears to HBO Max. Dune Prophecy. HBO. Okay, let's talk about it. So, anybody who's watched Dune 1 and 2 with Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya absolutely know the scale and breadth of these films. The world creating, the world building, the sets that they have to create in order to make you believe that they are where they are. Dune Prophecy actually did that. I was really shocked that they were able to create and capture the world where it didn't feel like it was outside of those films. That series could be one of the films and you would believe that it's in the same bracket of those films, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it a 9 out of 10. I loved the story. It was a prequel to the movies that we have actually already seen, and boy, HBO, I'm gonna need season 2. HBO, I'm gonna need season 2 and I'm gonna need it right now. Do you hear me? I'm gonna need it right now, please. Please and thank you. HBO, I'm talking to you. Dune Prophecy Season 2 needs to come out in 2025. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but please do it. Please watch it. If you love Dune, if you love stories like Dune, please watch Dune Prophecy. I loved it. It was so good. Switching gears again to Hulu/Disney. Now, I know it's been out for a long time, but I had never watched Only Murders in the Building. My best friend Alicia actually recommended that I watch it, and I said, okay, I'll give it a try. Started season 1, absolutely hooked. Had to watch all the way through. And a new season came out last year, I believe. Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez was a combo that I did not know that I needed. Did I think it would work? Absolutely not. Did it work? Absolutely. How does this woman have this chemistry and connection with these old men? I have no idea. But the balance of the relationship is really, really good. I think usually a relationship between two old men and a young woman on screen is creepy, and yet they found a way to make it wholesome and caring and loving, where you feel like, oh, actually, I'm glad that these three are friends. I'm glad that they know each other. I wish people would stop dying in the building. What is going on with this building? But I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I really like it. It's a comedy, but it's dramatic, and it's a murder mystery, but it's also modern because there's a podcast involved. And so I would recommend watching Only Murders in the Building. Apple TV has some of the best series I have ever seen in my life. Now, I'm not going to talk about it here as one of the shows that I watched last year because I watched it when it came out and I loved it. But C is one of my all-time favorite Apple TV shows. I love that series, and if you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. It's an honorable mention. Didn't watch it last year, but I would rewatch it. So I recommend that you do watch it. But what I'm going to talk about is a show that came out last year, Dark Matter, that is a scientific drama that I find so interesting. It tackles the idea about parallel universes and how we would transport ourselves through dimensions to get there. You guys, love it. It's kind of dark. Not kind of. It's dark, and I love it, and I think you should watch it. It's really, really good. I would give that an 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoy the story. Really enjoy the acting. Sometimes I forgot that some characters were played by the same person. Like, literally, the acting and writing is so good that I forgot that the main guy in one dimension is also the same actor of the main guy in the other dimension. Like, they did such a good job. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed that, and I would recommend that you watch it. Slow Horses. Gary Oldman. Let me tell you something. Gary Oldman, whatever Gary Oldman is in, watch it. Because I cannot believe that this man is the same man in so many different shows and movies. I almost don't recognize him. His acting is so good. He's literally a chameleon when it comes to what character he's going to play in that movie or show. He literally transforms into the character and you don't remember that it's Gary Oldman. Slow Horses Season 4 came out last year. It is so good. Also an Apple TV show. It's fantastic, and I also would recommend. That's a spy mystery comedy drama. It falls into a lot of genres, okay? And it's wonderful, and I would recommend that you watch it and come back to this video, comment, and let me know what you think about it. I love Slow Horses. The whole premise is just that there is this one group of people that is like MI6 rejects, and they all get put into a department together that is headed by Gary Oldman's character. Please watch this show. Slow Horses is a 9 out of 10 for me. Please, I beg, watch Slow Horses. Drops of God. Drops of God came out before 2024, I think, but I only watched it last year. And let me tell you something. It is multilingual. There's so many languages. People speak French, English, Italian, Japanese, and it is about a wine connoisseur who has passed away, and he created this elaborate test to choose between his protege and his daughter to see who gets his crazy expensive, vast, and diverse wine collection. I know it sounds very strange. When I read the premise, I was like, a competition for a wine collection? That's kind of weird. But honestly, it is worth the watch. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really like how they went about telling the story. There was a lot of twists and turns, but the twists and turns make sense. And I love how it tackles family and family issues and how people address family dynamic. I really like that show, and I think that you should watch it. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I really liked it. Let's talk about The Witcher. So, I had actually watched season 1 of The Witcher. I think I watched season 1 and 2 of The Witcher many years ago, but I couldn't really remember the story, and my partner had never seen it. So I thought, let's start it over from the beginning and watch all the way to the newest season. I thoroughly enjoyed The Witcher. I think it's a really good show. I think if you want something where you just want something fantasy and something otherworldly, then you should give The Witcher a try. I would give it a good 7 or 8 out of 10, and I think it's worth it. However, I think Henry Cavill is actually getting replaced. I'm not sure by who in the next season. I'm gonna have to look into it. But would I recommend you watch the show? Yes. If you like fantasy, if you like otherworldly things, if you like things with monsters, then I would suggest that you watch The Witcher. Now, speaking of monsters, Monarch: The Legacy of Monsters, which is in the world of King Kong and Godzilla. Now, I'm not a big Godzilla or King Kong fan. Like, I haven't seen all the movies. I don't know all the stories, all the plots. But I thought, let's give it a try. It's an Apple TV show. I haven't seen an Apple TV show that I didn't like as yet. So I was like, okay, let me try it. And I think I liked it. Sometimes I found the acting to be strange, and I think that was mostly based on the fact that sometimes I couldn't feel the chemistry between the characters. I didn't quite feel it, and I'm really somebody who's a feeler with shows and movies. I'm a crier. I get super invested into characters and their relationships. I love TV and movies. So I found this one a little up and down for me. So I give it a 6 out of 10. If you are a King Kong Godzilla watcher, then I would say that you watch it and let me know what you think. Up next is a crime drama on Apple TV called Criminal Record. I enjoy crime dramas. They're not my favorite genre, but I do enjoy watching them. So I really did like this show. I would say that the plot sometimes was confusing in terms of where it was going to go and the direction and choices that some characters made, but I did ultimately like the show as a whole, and I would recommend that you watch it if you do like crime dramas. I would give it like a 7 out of 10, a 6 or 7 out of 10. But I want to see season 2 because how season 1 ended kind of made me more excited for season 2. Remember how I said earlier I'd never seen an Apple TV show that I didn't like? Well, later on in the year, I found one. Raw on Apple TV was such a weird show. It was one of those shows where every episode has a different storyline and follows different characters, which I don't mind series like that, but each episode was so strange. Some of them were actually insane. I honestly wouldn't recommend that you watch this show, and for me, it was a 3/4 out of 10. It was the first Apple TV show that I've ever seen that I actually genuinely did not like. So I wouldn't recommend that you watch it. Now, I watched Hijack last year. I believe it came out in 2023. Idris Elba's in it. It's about a group of people that hijack a plane, and Idris Elba's character is trying to stop them from doing whatever they're trying to carry out. I think it's a good show. I think it was executed well for what it was. It's not my favorite, so I would give it a 6 out of 10. If you like shows like that, I would say go ahead and watch it because I found it was an easy watch and I did end up enjoying it. Invincible season 2 came out last year. Now, if you don't know what Invincible is an animated superhero show on Amazon. This is an adult animated series. This is not for children. It is bloody, it is gory, but boy is it good. The development of the characters that continued from season 1 into season 2. Now, if you've seen the show, I'm pretty sure you and I both feel the same way about Amber in season 1. Hated Amber with a hot burning passion inside of me. And also, I hated her in season 2. I'm guessing that they switched up her character for her to be more likable in season 2, but because we didn't see that growth, we just saw her be nice all of a sudden. Didn't like it either. But everything else, I loved. And so I would give Invincible an 8.5 out of 10. I can't wait for season 3, but I would highly recommend that you watch Invincible. I watched Agatha all along last year and I actually really enjoyed it. I loved how whimsical it was. I love that it was a drama but also a comedy. I love the continuation of the characters from watching WandaVision. I would give it a 7 out of 10 and I hope that there's a season 2 and I would recommend that people watch it. I watched She-Hulk Attorney at Law last year and I did not know that She-Hulk was a thing. Apparently it came out in 2022 but I didn't watch it until last year. I love Tatiana Maslany. Since Orphan Black, I think she had been like one of my favorite actresses. So I don't know how I did not know about She-Hulk, but once I found out, I needed to watch it. It was okay. It wasn't like my favorite show. I don't think I liked the story of how She-Hulk was created. I do love Tatiana Maslany. I love how she played the character. I loved the cameos from Hulk himself, Mark Ruffalo. I thought that was wonderful. So I would give She-Hulk like a 6 out of 10. You guys, I watched One Day. I watched the original One Day movie with Anne Hathaway and cried and blubbered like a baby. I don't know why I thought that I could watch this series and that it would be different. It wasn't. I cried and I blubbered like a baby. If you need a good cry, if you love to get emotionally invested in stories, this one is a love story. It's a romance tragedy. So if you want to watch that kind of show, I definitely would recommend. But I will say, get you a towel or a box of tissues so that you can cry into it. Half of the show I just could not see because my eyes were full of tears. But was it good? Yes, I would give it a 7 out of 10. I would say that I still prefer the movie, but it was good. Now I'm going to list some series that I started last year but haven't finished yet. So Madam Secretary. This is an old show. Madam Secretary came out in 2014. I had never seen it. I got a recommendation from my friend Hiram. Shout out to you, Hiram. It's a political drama. I love political dramas. So I said, okay, absolutely love Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary is a high 8.9 out of 10 for me. I thoroughly enjoy it. I love the characters. I love the dynamics. I love the growth. I love that it's somehow a family-based political drama, even though it involves presidencies and world crises and elections and all of these kinds of things. I absolutely love it and I would recommend that you watch it. It's on Netflix. I'm still not done with it. I believe I'm halfway through season 2 and I cannot wait to continue watching. Designated Survivor. I saw Designated Survivor on Netflix many, many years ago, and I think I started it, but I couldn't remember anything about it. So again, I thought to myself, it's a political drama. I love political dramas. Let me give it a shot. Absolutely not. I'm not a fan. I don't like the writing. I don't like the relationships between the characters. I don't like that it feels repetitive. It feels like the story is the same over and over and over. I just couldn't finish it. And also, I don't like a man who feels sorry for himself when he's in a position of power because it's too realistic for me. It's too realistic. It feels too real. I want to be transported into a different world, and that feels like real life. So for me, it's a 3 out of 10. Would not recommend. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action version that Netflix created and released last year. I know it's a controversial show. I'm one of the people that didn't like it. I get really upset when shows or movies have something to base the show or movie off of and it doesn't do it justice. I feel like this show did not do the original justice. Granted, it's not as bad as the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Nothing could be worse than that. I know that we as Avatar fans do not like to acknowledge that that movie exists, and so it doesn't. But I didn't like the series either. Couldn't finish it. That's like a 3 out of 10 for me as well. I wouldn't recommend it. But maybe if I finish it, I might feel differently. On to something I did like, Matlock. on Paramount Plus. Now, I would have told you all earlier that I love a legal drama. This is a legal drama at its finest. I thoroughly enjoy Matlock. Matlock is a 9 out of 10. The premise, the story, I'm not even going to tell you anything about it. Just watch it. Watch it and come back and thank me. I don't even want to hear your thoughts because I know you're going to like it. Absolutely love. I can't wait to finish it. And the only reason that I didn't finish it is because the season actually took a break for Christmas. And also, I'm already dying for season 2. I'm already dying for season 2. I hope Paramount Plus is listening. I hope that y'all already have season 2 in the works. I hope it's already finished and I hope it's releasing this year. Yeah. I said what I said. I want it now. I would like it now. Thank you. So that's all the series that I watched in 2024 and how I would rate them. Please let me know if you think I should do the same thing for movies. I will see you guys next time. Bye.